Greetings, fellow YouTubers. Here we go again. It's 11:49 a.m. Sunday, 9/19/2010. We're documenting a conversation on the 14th of September 2010. I'm going to keep playing this audio clip from the last YouTube video. Here we go.
No, I understand what you're saying,
okay,
sir.
well, so I'm just trying to let you know where I'm coming from.
No, I understand where you're coming from.
So which is it? It's mandatory?
Well, generally, I mean, do I know if there is a specific law regarding what you're speaking to other than the traffic law I spoke about earlier?
Right.
No.
And then on that example, if I was a passenger and wasn't committing the traffic crime, I would have the absolute right to walk away for Terry versus Ohio. After so many minutes, even if they did a weapons check, and then if I'm not involved, I can even keep going. I don't have to identify myself at all. So there is different, and I mean, I don't know if all your officers are still trained on that Terry versus Ohio. I'm sure there's new case laws and stuff, but it's still back to basics when you get into that.
Right, no, I understand.
So
I don't know why an officer would have necessarily told you it was mandatory unless he was thinking about something else or what you were talking to him about. I don't know. But again, I don't know of any specific law that requires you to identify yourself. I mean, because technically, if you're under arrest, you don't have to identify yourself. You'll just get arrested as a John Doe, and then you don't get released until you identify yourself. So, I mean, is there anybody forcing you to give information?
Well, when
no, you just have to accept the consequences if you don't, if there is a law that says you have to.
Right. If in the situations you're talking about, absolutely, you're going to have to be identified one way or the other sooner or later.
I mean, so again, you know, it seems from the information you're giving me here and what I'm looking at on the computer, I don't necessarily see why it would be mandatory for you to give your date of birth.
Okay.
But again, I don't know the entire situation, so I'm not going to, you know, set concrete.
I'm not going to make a complaint on this.
Okay.
But I would like to not experience this the next time I'm in contact with an officer when I believe I'm right.
Right, no, I understand.
I would like not to have to argue about him if I believe I'm right and he's just misinformed, maybe.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know without talking to the officer to find out exactly what he was.
Well, I'd like you to talk to him and just say, hey, this guy gets rubbed the wrong way sometimes. Maybe I'm an a-hole. I don't know, but I just see things that other people can't see, and it can't change from one day to the next on the same case with the same subject matter, reporting the same type of information.
Yeah, it seems logical.
Okay. Sometimes I feel like I'm not logical. But then that's sometimes when some of your other guys are disagreeing with me.
Yeah. And again, a lot of people, when I talk to them on the phone, I ask for their, you know, name, address, date of birth, just to make sure that's truly the person I'm talking to. You know, because sometimes over a phone conversation, you know, if you know personal information about yourself, then it's safe for me to say, yeah, this is the person.
Let me throw a hypothetical example out there. If this officer called me back, and I wasn't here, and a burglar answered the phone, and was going through my paperwork or looked on my calendar and happened to tell him when my birthday was, how the heck does that still guarantee he's talking to me? Even though he called my number?
It doesn't, sir. And again, you're playing the what if game again.
Well,
I'm just trying to answer you.
Well, I'm throwing out a spectrum of different scenarios.
Right. And you're right when it comes to that. It still doesn't guarantee I'm talking to that right person.
See, because what can happen out on the street is an officer will become aggravated and might want to or actually arrest me under some other statutes because I'm being uncooperative, and that's exactly what I don't want to experience out in the field. I've seen videos on YouTube. I know it can happen. I'm not saying it happened here, but it could have. And it happens everywhere else, so it happens. But yeah, so you see my points. I'm glad you see my points because I hate arguing. Actually, I like to talk point to point.
No, I understand that.
And
but again, I mean, why would one say it's mandatory and one not? I don't know. I mean, I don't see a reason why you would have to provide it other than just to identify who you are. But again, obviously every officer's different. Everybody, and like when you called, I knew it was you. So, yeah, I mean, I know your voice.
Okay, because we've spoke before?
We have spoken before, yes, and I've seen some of your stuff on YouTube.
Oh, you saw my channel.
Yes.
Oh, well, that brings me to some other questions. Have you seen the recent one where a couple deputies was one was told to leave and not come back, and I did an interview on a lady about alleged criminal trespassing by deputies, and I didn't get any of that on film. And then they came back a couple days later while I was cleaning an elderly lady's yard up there, helping her tighten up, and I happened to have my camera, and she told the officer not to come back, and he came back with the supervisor. They went through her no trespassing sign after being told to stay out, through the gate, looked into a residential structure, that's in the trespassing statute too. One of them, or both of them, let the dog out, so there was a dog at large, which of course, if it's an accident, if I let the neighbor's dog out, somebody's getting the ticket, me or the neighbor, but because the officers did it, well, they didn't even seem to have a warrant with them. Anyways, they didn't give each other tickets on, say, dog at large, darn doorbell, say dog at large or criminal trespass. And would that be appropriate if they come in the property after being told to stay outside the property line?
It depends on the...
Okay, well, there we go, folks. And that is a documentation with Detective Rice of the Internal Affairs from the Pima County Sheriffs. And once again, it's just very interesting that a passenger can be arrested or detained for a traffic ticket, and maybe there is some new traffic laws out there, but last I knew, deputies must ensure through testimony, witnesses, and field reports that the person accused of a Title 28 traffic ticket was in actual physical control of the vehicle at time of violation. So quite simply, I want to know what kind of traffic laws are out there that the passenger could be charged with that would put them in the control of the vehicle at time of violation. Well, they're a passenger. I don't know. Well, we're gonna have to get to the bottom of that one too. Anyways, this concludes this portion of this specific video. There will be more. I'll be back. So, peace and respect to all. It's 11:56 a.m. It's Sunday, 9/19/2010. That's September 19, 2010. We're going to end this documentation because I'm going to go cook a hamburger. Alright. God bless.